Hello people and welcome to my Warrior Custom Figures 500 subscribers video. My rather late 500 subscribers video. Seriously, the day I announced this on Instagram, my day was like this. Alright, finally, I'm tired of myself. Now I can relax. Hold on. 500 subscribers? When the fuck did this happen? And what better way to celebrate 500 subscribers is by showing a figure that I have been teasing on Instagram for the past few months. That being my Frankenstein's monster figure. It's especially fitting since Universal announced their Dark Universe, which features, you guessed it, Frankenstein, along with the Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, and of course, the Mummy. This figure was originally made for a Doctor Who figure adventure I was planning to do a while back featuring Frankenstein. However, that figure adventure never saw production. But I did design the monster itself and was quite happy with the design and ended up thinking about a few other things to add over the years, so I decided to keep working on it. The base figure was a Stephen Hart figure from Primeval, and putting them side by side makes it look like Stephen's had a horrific accident. Before we start, I'd like to mention how this figure is completely my own original design. And I decided to take a more modern approach, due to how not many Frankenstein stories have done that. Hence the inclusion of the Stephen Hart figure. Most of the face is covered in milliput, specifically the large brow, in order to reflect the large forehead usually seen on Frankenstein's monsters. Given how Frankenstein is made out of corpses, I decided to add a skeletal feature and make it look a bit enlarged to make the face look more disfigured. I did that on milliput, sculpting the details, including the stitches. After painting that, I added some black to the stitches, including some red, and some dark washes to make the features stand out more. And because it was Frankenstein, I added the bolt. I used the same details on the cheek and on the forehead, and I added these bronze and silver clips here in order to make it look like surgical staples attaching the flesh. I added this bit here to make the forehead look a bit more larger, in order to make the forehead a bit more enlarged, in order to reflect the Boris Karloff version. And I used two different skin colours. The bottom one reflecting the rest of the face, while the top one to make it look like a completely different set of skin. This was done with the chin. I added the milliput here to make it look a bit more disfigured, and as well as looking disproportionate. Sculpting the stitches along the neck here, and painted a darker skin tone and added a dark wash to it in order to make it look like more skin taken from a completely different person. Moving on to the back, I took a blob of milliput, put it on the back to make it look like the hair was covering the edges of it. I took strings of milliput to make the stitches stand out more on here, after I added a big slit in order to look like the stitching was coming undone. Then I used what was left of that string of milliput in order to make this bolt. Speaking of bolts, you're probably wondering about the bars here. Now we all know about how the traditional Frankenstein monster has the bolts sticking out from his head or his neck. I decided to take my own approach with these metal copper bars. The clips have something more longer to grip onto, and plus it blends in more into the background, especially with his hair. I imagine my version of Victor Frankenstein to be a perfectionist in order to not have the bolts or any bits of metal sticking out if possible. Then we move on to the eyes. I just added a dark wash around this eye. However, this eye, after sculpting in the cheek and the brow, I covered this area in milliput and sculpted in the eye. With this version of Frankenstein's monster, I like to think of him as a creature that's kind of fallen apart and kind of incomplete. With this version of Frankenstein, I like to think of him as kind of imperfect compared to other versions, especially how his nose just blends into his face and how bits of him are actually kind of falling off. Hence why there's no skin around the eye. So I just painted it red in order to reflect the muscle, and repainted the eyeball with the grey eye to make it look like as if it's blind in one eye, due to the fact that he only has one set of eyelids. In order to give the look of blood and muscle, I added some varnish to it. The idea of this version of Frankenstein just wandering around and falling apart at the seams continues on the lips. As I had a strip of milliput here, blended it in, and kind of a little slit, as if the edges of his lips had to be sewed back together, but then fell apart as the monster was wandering about after being abandoned by Victor. Same goes for the chest here. I covered the entire chest in mirror, dug into it with a scalpel in order to make it look like the chest cavity is slowly peeling open, with the stitches inside here being added by mirror, and to make it look like they're fallen out. I painted the whole thing red, added some gloss inside the slit, and then I painted the stitches black and gave them a silver wash in order to make them stand out and look more like wiring. Speaking of wires, I did try to do a little bit of a cybernetic thing, more machine-like. However, some of my ideas didn't really work out. The most I ended up doing was a wire being connected from the bots attached to his brain down to his body, and a sort of gear-like bolt thing attached to his arm, as if his arm is attached via machinery and gears. On the other arm, I took a bit of inspiration from the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman, in which that version of Frankenstein was really bulky with loads of muscles and loads of scarring. So I took inspiration from that and I had a big ball of mirror, sculpted it on the arm, and I added the edges here as if the shirt was coming apart and the muscles were peering through. This pattern here with scarring, I originally was just going to leave it as it is, with the only thing standing out being the fact that there's 3 different skin colours on the arm, with the red scarring here dividing them. However, I felt that looked a bit dull, so I just took some more mirror and added these gold staples. I also cut down the colour in order to make the stitching more visible. On the hands, I covered the back of this one in mirror and added the stitching. And for this one, I added the bolt, as if the bones inside were attached together by metal plates. On the leg, I did the same thing for the arm, except I painted the edges blue to reflect the jeans. Just cut a big slit for the leg, painted 2 different skin colours here, and used mirror to make the stitching more visible. As compared to the face, I had more room to work. For the feet, Frankenstein's monster, particularly Boris Karloff's version and the Van Helsing version, has big blocky shoes in order to make them look taller. I used this as inspiration for this foot and painted it copper, and I added loads of different scratches on it in order to give it a more wear and tear sort of feeling. Whereas this one, the silver band is actually strands of duct tape, keeping up with the modern look. I also envisioned this type of character as the sort of person who'd be patching himself up as he slowly falls apart as he goes along. I also painted the bottom of the shoes brown with dark washes in order to make it look like he's been wandering around all over the place for a while, and to age the shoes. And so this brings us to the end of this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Also, I'd like to hear your thoughts about this original custom figure in the comments below, so please let me know your thoughts. And also, thank you to all of the 500 subscribers who have been watching my videos all this time, and all who have subscribed. And trust me, there is more still to come. Also, don't forget to check out more of my creations on my YouTube channel, Facebook, as well as my Instagram. In any case, thank you for watching, and I bid you a good day.